Pre-Algebra Lesson 3-2, Estimating Decimal Products and Quotients. Compatible numbers that are numbers that are easy to divide mentally. For example, a compatible number to 4 would be any number that's divisible by 4. Like 48 is a compatible number to 4. 47 would not be. Now, you can use mental math to estimate products and quotients. It's a good idea to estimate answers to check your calculations. Don't say, well, I check my calculations on a calculator, because you're not allowed to use a calculator in class, number 1. And number 2, whatever, if you don't have a calculator, don't say use your phone, because you might not have your phone either. Use your brain, that's the best calculator you'll ever have. It should go with you everywhere you go. You should never forget it somewhere. Doesn't matter if it gets wet. Normally, when you estimate a product, you round each number to the same place value prior to multiplying. Now, the whole idea of estimating is to make your multiplication and your division easier. So don't sit here and say, oh, I'm going to estimate 7.65 to 7.7, because that's not going to be easy to multiply. What would be easiest to multiply is look at these and say, I'm going to multiply, I'm going to round both of these numbers to the nearest whole number, because that's the easiest thing to multiply. Now, 7.65 rounds to 8, 3.2 rounds to 3, so this is approximately 24. We want a fast and easy computation. So don't sit here and say, oh, I'm going to estimate this to 7.7 and this to 3.2. That's not going to speed up my multiplication at all. And it's still going to take, I'm going to need to use paper and pencil, and it's still going to take me a while to do it. So you want to make it so that you can do it fairly quickly. We look at 4.72 and 1.8. 4.72 rounds to about 5, 1.8 rounds to about 2, so my answer here is about 10. And this is what I would expect to see in your homework. Tell me what you're rounding them to, so I can see. Don't just give me an answer of 10, because that doesn't tell me anything. I have no idea how you arrived at 10. I can take an educated guess, but I for sure do not know. But if you show your work 5 times 2, I'll know how you arrived at that. Number 3, 17.02, 3.78. Okay, I'm going to round that to 17 and 4. And you might say, well, 17 times 4 is hard to multiply. Can't I do 20 times 4? Rounding 17 to 20 is a bit common. Okay, it's not that hard, because if I think about it, 20 times 4 is 80, and 17 is 3 less than that. Okay, 3 times 4 is 12. 80 minus 12 is 68. Okay, using a little bit of my distributive properties to do that one. 8.25 and 19.8. 8.25, that's going to round to 8. 19.8 is going to round to 20. 20 times 8 is 160. So there we have estimating our products. You always want to round them to the same place value, so that you can, not always, but normally round it to the same place value so that you can get a good estimate. All right, let's look at the parts of the division problem. I have 6 divided by 3 equals 2. 6 is my dividend, 3 is my divisor, and 2 is my quotient. It's important to know these, because when you divide, you need to use compatible numbers to estimate the quotients, which is the answer to the division problem. So to estimate your quotient, you're going to round your divisor first. Always round your divisor first, and then round the dividend to a compatible number. That's why you need to know the difference between your divisor and your dividend. So we're going to estimate these quotients, 38.9 divided by 1.79. I am supposed to round my divisor first. Okay, so round the divisor. Now we want to round this to something that's easy to divide by. So I'm not going to look here and say round this to 1.8. I want to round to something that's easy to divide by. So I'm going to round this to 2. Now I need to find a number that's close to 38.9 that's compatible with 2. And there are 2 numbers. You can look at this and say 38.9 rounds to 38, and it also rounds to 40. Right? And it really doesn't matter which one you choose. Both of them would be fairly reasonable. So I can look at this and say 38.9. I'm going to round this to 38. 38 divided by 2. Okay. 38 divided by 2 is, let's see, 3 goes into 3 one time, and 19, right? Or you can look at it and somebody else is going to say, oh, 38.9, I'm going to round that to 40. 40 divided by 2 is 20. So either one of those are reasonable. As long as you show me your work, I would accept either one of these answers. If you just gave me an answer, I would accept neither of these answers. Okay, so either one of these answers is acceptable, but just show me your work telling me how you got there. Number 2, 11.95 divided by 2.1. Well, the first thing I have to do is round my divisor, which is 2.1. I'm rounding that to 2. And 11.95, the closest number that's divisible by 2 is 12. 12 divided by 2 is approximately 56. The whole point of this is to make your computations fast and easy, not having to do paper pencil, just being able to use my brain once I've written down what's divided by what. Number 3, 82.52 divided by 4.25. Huh? I'm thinking 4.25, I'm around that to 4. 82.52, 84 and 80 are divisible by 4, so I'm going to go with 80. Because 80, I think, is closer to 84 might be, but 80 divided by 4 would work. 84 would work as well. Okay, 80 divided by 4 is 20. Remember, if you decided to use 84, as long as you showed me, right, I would know that this is 21. Either one of those is acceptable because they're both compatible numbers and they're both close to 82.52. Right? Technically, 84 is closer to 82.52 than 80 is. Because 80 is 2.52 away, and 84 is 1.48 away. Let's look at this next problem. Is 3.29 a reasonable quotient for 31.423 divided by 5.14? And explain. Well, let's think about this. I would probably round this to 6. So that means I would round this to 30. And 30 divided by 6 is approximately equal to 5. So is 3.29 a reasonable answer? Not even close. Okay, so I would say no. I would say that 5 is a much more reasonable answer. There we go. So this is rounding and estimating. This is estimating decimal products and quotients. Not complicated, but remember, the whole key issue here is to try to make your computations easier so that you don't have to write down and do longhand multiplication or longhand division.